In this video, I'm going to show you a simple framework that any entrepreneur can use to build a business that runs itself in just 30 days. It doesn't matter if you're stuck with lead gen, sales, or client delivery. As long as you follow this process, those problems will be replaced by a system that makes your business feel simple, predictable, and scalable. What I'm about to share with you took me 4 years of constant grinding and over 300,000 invested into mentors to learn. And I'm going to give it to you in a 20-minute video for free. I seriously would not know where I'll be right now without this framework, because within 30 days of discovering it, I was able to systematize every part of my business and delegate daily operations to my team without having to micromanage them. And in 90 days, I was able to double my business whilst buying back a ton of time. So if you want to grow a business that gives you profit and freedom at scale, let's dive in. First, let's address the root cause. Most entrepreneurs are optimizing what shouldn't exist in the first place. They're adding complexity to fix problems that complexity created. It's like trying to add more horsepower to a car with wheels that are pointing in different directions. You can push harder all you want, but you won't find yourself moving any faster. To put this in context, here's what most entrepreneurs think when they want to free themselves up from being the bottleneck. They think they need better project management software. They need to write more SOPs. They need a bigger team to run the business. But here's what actually is the case. You don't need more software, SOPs, or complexity. You need a scalable operating system that ties everything together. That being said, before we dive into the framework itself, let's talk about the 3 things to stop doing so you can save yourself some time to focus on what actually matters. Number 1, tool shopping. Whether it's Asana, Trello, ClickUp, or something else, you might think maybe this tool will organize my chaos. But 3 months later, your team is still trying to get used to the tool, nothing within the tool is being organized, and you're still the person micromanaging everything. Buying another project management tool when you don't have a clear process is like buying a gym membership to fix your diet. You're wasting time by solving a problem with the wrong solution. Number 2, hiring your way out. Here's what nobody tells you. Delegation isn't a transference of tasks. It's a transference of clarity. If you don't have clarity on what needs to be done and why it matters, there's no way someone you hired on Upwork is going to figure it out for you. Whether you're hiring contractors or virtual assistants, in order for you to successfully buy back time, you must have a system that creates clarity rather than confusion. Number 3, SOP stacking. If you've ever spent hours documenting SOPs that nobody uses, spending more time documenting more SOPs will not help you get more time back. Unless there's a process in place for your team to regularly reference the right SOPs as they approach their daily workflows and projects, those SOPs will just sit in a folder waiting to become outdated. I learned this the expensive way. In 2020, I left my job as a vet surgeon to run my consulting business full-time. My coach back then told me to just spend more on ads, sell harder, and just scale, without teaching me anything about how to leverage my time. As a result, I ended up getting pretty good at sales and marketing, but also created a ton of operational complexity, trapping myself in 80-hour work weeks and watching 90% of my revenue disappear into ad spend, software, and payroll. Then I took a week off for Christmas and nearly lost the business itself. Speaking from experience, saying I just need to work harder when you're already drowning isn't a strategy. That's like trying to swim your way out of quicksand. The more you move, the faster you'll drown. So if any of this is relatable, here's the good news. If you're currently stuck in a hamster wheel, the solution is much simpler than you think. That said, allow me to introduce to you the fractalization method. After helping myself and over 300 clients replace themselves from daily operations, here's what I discovered. Most entrepreneurs think in straight lines, where 1 + 1 = 2, where working twice as hard means earning twice as much. But business doesn't work linearly or in a 2-dimensional manner. It works in a multi-dimensional manner with different systems coming together to create a sophisticated machine. You can see this in action by looking at how nature builds systems. A tree follows a fractal structure, a pattern that repeats at different scales. A trunk splits into thick limbs. Limbs splits into medium branches. Branches splits into thin twigs, and each twig splits into even thinner stems. Your circulatory system does this too. Heart pumps into major arteries. Major arteries split into smaller arteries. Those arteries split into arterioles, and those split into capillaries so small you need a microscope to see them. It's the same splitting pattern at every level, from massive to microscopic. Fractals work because they're simple patterns repeated at every level. One rule applied everywhere. That's how nature builds systems that scale. Right now, if all you have is a goal and some SOPs, your business is like a tree where the trunk connects directly to the leaves with nothing in between. And you're wondering why it isn't growing. You can't just document and delegate at one level. You need a systematic approach to delegate and scale up all levels of your business. To put this into context, here are two examples of how the fractalization method is used by businesses that you have probably heard of. Example number one, Tesla. From a macro point of view, there's their vision, accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. From a micro point of view, there's the most important molecule to Tesla's vision, lithium, which powers every Tesla battery. Then there's everything in between. Amongst the main departments of the company, there's the engineering department. Within it lies one of Tesla's factories. Within the factory, there are assembly lines. Then there are stations within the assembly line and procedures at each station and its specific parts. Every person at Tesla can zoom out and see the vision and zoom in to see their task. They understand how everything connects with each other. The person installing batteries isn't pulling batteries in cars. They are accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. The fractalization method is what connects between things at the biggest to the small scale, from vision to molecule. Example number two, my consulting agency, Polaris. If we zoom all the way out, there's our vision, to help founders invest their time at the highest purpose. And if we zoom all the way in, there's the specific words that I'm speaking to you right now. And there's everything in between. Our core four departments, marketing, sales, operations, and finances. Within marketing and sales, there's the acquisition system that turns strangers into paying clients. Within operations, there's our fulfillment system that turns clients into advocates. And within each system, there are process maps, SOPs, and trackers. And with the fractalized leverage framework at work, everyone in my consulting agency, from a new VA to myself as a founder, can know exactly what needs to be done, how things should be done, and how is performance measured and why. Rather than building hundreds of SOPs and dozens of scattered systems, using the fractalization method, we can have a framework that ties together all systems at different levels. Diving deeper, here's how you can use the same method to turn your business into a profitable asset that runs itself. Imagine yourself renting a car in a foreign country. In order for you to navigate to a certain destination, you need a GPS that allows you to zoom in and out of the map. A GPS like this is exactly what you want to build into your business, because whether you are delegating to VAs, contractors, or employees, giving your team SOPs without giving them vision is like handing them a GPS that only has the street view but not the satellite view. So your team will just get lost and keep asking you for directions. Instructions without context will only cause confusion. And in order for us to create leverage and successfully buy back time without being the micromanager, we have to create processes that clearly communicate how your business works from a micro and micro point of view, so that everyone on your team, including yourself, can align on how your business operates. This might look like an overwhelming project that you don't have time to do, but it's actually pretty simple. Let me show you how. All you have to do is to document your business's operations into these 3 layers. Layer 1, let's provide a satellite view with process maps. Grab a whiteboard and map out the major steps your business takes to turn strangers into paying clients and paying clients into advocates. For example, to get clients, the major stages might be paid ads to a VSL, to an appointment page, to a sales call where you make an offer. For client fulfillment, the major stages would be enrollment, onboarding, implementation, retention, and upsell. Here's what most people get wrong. They try to document how before they document the what. This map isn't here to provide a step-by-step instruction. It's here to provide a high-level overview of how your business operates. Layer number 2. Let's provide a street view with workflows. For each major step your business takes to turn strangers into clients followed by advocates, what are the specific workflows? For example, let's say your client onboarding process involves building out a webinar funnel for them. In order for this process to be delivered without you, we must clarify the sequential steps involved. Step 1, collect brand assets. Step 2, create webinar script. Step 3, build registration page. Step 4, set up email automation. Step 5, configure webinar platform. Step 6, test out the webinar funnel. Step 7, launch retargeting ads and drive traffic to the funnel. Whilst average entrepreneurs document isolated tasks, scalable entrepreneurs document connected workflows. The tasks are dots and the workflows are the lines connecting the dots. When you document workflows instead of tasks, delegation becomes 10 times easier. People understand the A to Z journey, not just the individual steps. They see how their piece fits and they make better decisions on their own in relation to the purpose that the business solves as a whole. Now that you have the satellite view with process maps, the street view with workflows, let's build out layer number 3, providing the ground view with SOPs. For each workflow step, you want to create SOPs that are impossible to not understand, with video walkthroughs, templates, checklists, and a detailed instruction to get the step done. As an example, here's how I document the workflows and SOPs for the recruitment branch of my business. So as you can see, this is a pretty prioritized offer with a clear scope because what we do is that we help agencies and online service businesses to hire, manage, train, and onboard virtual assistants who can take care of marketing tasks and client delivery or operational tasks for a client so that they can buy better time. And within the major stages of this delivery journey, there are workflows that documents the client onboarding process, the VA onboarding process, and the ongoing management for each VA and client. So diving deeper on, let's say, stage 1, as you can see here, what we have done is break down the service offer into 3 main stages. And within each stage, there's workflows identifying all the steps and tasks that need to be done in order for us to bring a client from one stage to the next. So the trigger of this stage is obviously when a client decides to onboard with us and pays our fee for enrollment. Next up, I'm going to send a Slack notification letting my team know exactly what this client is paying us for to trigger stage 1 of this process. And next, what I'm going to do is to allow my account manager and my recruiter to take care of the rest of the process. As you can see, I am only in charge of the first and second step, and my amazing team will be the people who will carry out the remainder of the service offer. And in order for this workflow to be clearly communicated and done accurately, what I have done is document SOPs along each process. So for example, let's say we had the step to send the client agreement to our clients. So within each step, there is the template for the client agreement, and there's also step-by-step walkthroughs along with a Loom video shared with my team how to customize every single done-for-you delegation service agreements with our clients with all the variables that we need to pay attention to, and we have a Loom walkthrough detailing step-by-step how this can be done through our software DocuSign. So again, what we want to do is to make sure that every single step along the process is listed out in the workflow, and within each step, there's an SOP that's impossible to understand so that no matter whether the person in charge is a new person or someone who's a veteran in our business, they can clearly know exactly what needs to be done without coming to me for constant questions or directions. By assigning my VA team to be in charge of running this process, rather than have my SOPs sit in a folder and do nothing, they become a part of a living system. And when your team understands the vision, sees the pathway, and has clear instructions, delegation isn't hard anymore. It's just what naturally happens. All that being said, if any part of you wants to dismiss all this and say, I am busy, or come up with objections as to why you cannot do this, here's what I'd like you to know. If a process can't be repeated, it can't be documented. If it can't be documented, it can't be delegated. And if it can't be delegated, you're not building a business, you're building a job for yourself. So take one of my clients as an example. Without naming real names, let's call him Harry. When we first met, Harry was running a full-service marketing agency. And because every client wanted something different, every client went down a different fulfillment pathway. And Harry was working 100 hours per week as a result. Like Bruce Lee said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once. I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times. Harry was practicing 10,000 kicks all at once. In order for Harry's agency to become scalable, we have to create focus and ruthlessly simplify his operations at different levels. At the macro level, we have to dial in his brand and offer positioning. By clarifying what he does best, what gives him the highest profit, and what type of clients he likes to work with, he can clearly articulate what he does do and what he does not do in his market. At the meso level, we clarify the tight acquisition process that attracts a specific niche clientele who wants to solve a specific problem, and a fulfillment process that brings them through an offer with a clear scope. At the micro level, since buyer's journey and client fulfillment journey are standardized, we can now document a process into workflows and SOPs that are repeatable, predictable, and scalable. And as a result of us creating a product offer, aka Harry's One Kick, we were able to replace his team of expensive part-time contractors with just one account manager and one marketing VA, which saved him over $10,000 per month in payroll. 3 months later, not only did Harry double his profits, he also went from 100-hour work weeks to taking evenings and weekends off. This is possible because Harry's commitment to using the fractalization method. From vision to execution, every layer of his business now is connected through a scalable operating system. When you fractalize, you stop trading time for money. You invest time once to create leverage that keeps making you money over time. You stop being the answer. Your team makes decisions without you because they understand the context. And operational overwhelm disappears because someone else handles those soul-draining tasks and knows exactly what to do for you. And most importantly, you have boundaries around the areas of life that matter most. Instead of answering Slack at 10 p.m., you can enjoy date nights, long weekends, and guilt-free vacations. But in order for this to happen for you, you must shift your identity from the Chief Everything Officer to a systems-driven CEO. As Donella Meadows once said in her famous book, Thinking in Systems, we can't impose our will on a system. We can listen to what the systems tell us and discover how its properties and our values can work together. Fractalization creates alignment without force or hustle. When everyone understands how each pieces connect, they naturally move into the same direction, not because you told them to, because they just get it. At the end of the day, you don't need more tools, you don't need more people, and you don't need to hustle harder. You simply need systems that hustle for you. So let's build your business the way nature builds everything that lasts, with simple patterns that repeat at every single scale. Thanks for watching, and if you want more clarity on how to build systems for marketing, sales, fulfillment, and optimization, check out this video where I dive deep on each system and how you can use them to scale your business whilst reclaiming the time freedom you deserve.